my world is what I can see here.
Right.
Even all the years people have tried to explain gods and whatnot, I just don't see it that way.
Yeah.
You know, there's no. Are you kidding me? Like, where did God come from?
Yeah, exactly.
That just stops it dead for me. But
the burden of proof is always on the religion. Okay, so that's the thing that they have to understand. I mean, they're the ones who claim something extraordinary because the idea of a being that is able to create the universe and control people's lives and things like that's an extraordinary claim. It's not something that just happens every day. It's not like I go to the supermarket and, hey, look at that, God is there. So they have the burden of proof. They have to prove that he exists, and they can't do that. But atheists cannot disprove that, but that's not our point at all. The burden of proof is not on us. So,
right. Do you get a lot of hate sent to you? Because your numbers for your podcast show about 8,000 people listen to your episodes.
Yeah,
I'd imagine you get a certain percentage of wackos.
There are some, and I have a kind of zero tolerance policy on my page, so I ban people pretty quickly. Right. The point of my show is not to promote necessarily atheism, it's to promote knowledge and to promote common sense and how to think properly. And some people are just, they just shut down their mind completely and they refuse to get any new information in. Those people are hopeless to talk to. So, of course, sometimes they comment something like, haha, you're just making like stupid claims. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I don't want to waste my time on you, so bye, see you. I mean, I have 12,000 likes on my page. Right. I am not going to cry about a few people who have to disappear, you know. So
well, it is a waste of time anyway. They will not see another point of view.
They will not.
They won't. I think part of calling myself an atheist makes me feel like I'm a bit clever sometimes because it feels like, how can they be so, I want to say stupid, but it helps a lot of people. Just like I was getting back to that first podcast episode show we did, I found myself on the spot.
You did,
going, okay, what do I really think about this? And there's my next door neighbours at the time were the first people in the last 20 years that I went, oh no, my next door neighbours are Christians. He quotes the Bible every time we speak.
Right.
Okay. But hang on, next minute. And they lived beside us for 7 years. So in the first weeks, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think oh no.
Right.
No, I don't know where this is going to go. Every single day that he would speak to me, there would be a quote from the Bible. Jesus Christ said.
Yep.
And so I just go, oh, geez, and sort of shut off. And I didn't want to be rude because he was a very nice guy. But then he would deliver fruit every Saturday.
Yeah.
Because they grew all this garden. And then it was next Saturday. And I started to go, man, why is he delivering fruit? He's making me feel bad.
Yeah.
Like I'm making me. But the next week it was, g'day, Drew. Oh, g'day, Paul. You know, and I just learned over the years that this was a genuine sweetheart guy.
Yeah.
Just a really nice family.
Yeah.
They believed in something.
Yep.
He actually had a horrible upbringing. All the bad things you could ever think of made him turn to a religion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He's very, I'm just going to talk to him for a second, but he searches for all the religions. Mm-hmm. Bahia, you know, that one out of the Middle East where you sort of believe in all things. He was into that for a little bit, but I learnt from my neighbour that, okay, you can be a religious nut job.
Yeah.
If you do decide to sort of preach the Bible, you may end up getting yourself into some trouble.
Yes.
People will shut off from, listening to you.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, churches are kind of tribal, and they may have big goals to help poor people, and so. Yeah.
I'd have to say they usually hoard the money instead. I mean, I wish they were helping people, but anyway, perhaps I can talk about actually how I got to this position, because you see, I was born in 1983 in New York City. Kind of funny story about that lately. I was trying to register for voting, and so I've never done it before. I don't know how it works. I have no idea. So I contacted the kind of voting office, I guess, in America, and I just, hey, I'm a citizen of the United States. I'd like to register for voting. What do I need to do? And, they replied, like, it's very easy. You just need to go to this website and, like, register. But we need your last address in America. And I told them, well, okay, that's kind of fine. But my last address in America was 31 years ago for me personally. Because I left America when I was 1. So yeah, you can imagine finding an address 30 years later. I don't even know. I mean, my dad found eventually the address, but he said, well, this is the address like 30 years ago. So maybe that building doesn't exist anymore. We don't know. That would be interesting to Google Map, actually, now that I know the address. But anyway, so yeah, we left America when I was 1. And my dad, by the way, was very fortunate to end up in America in the first place. He worked for the United Nations. Well, he still does, actually, as an interpreter. And before, they had this kind of system. So
from Russia.
Well, I mean, he's Russian, but I mean, like, this system is in every country where the UN exists. So basically, from time to time, some worker is chosen, and he goes somewhere else to work for like 4 years. That's all you get. No extensions, never. After that, you go back to your country. Then maybe later, again, if you're lucky, then maybe you go to some other country. But he got extremely lucky, as you can imagine, because he went from the Soviet Union to America. So that was pretty much going from almost nothing to everything. And of course, there were a couple of interesting conditions on his job in America. Like, the tax was very high. For him in particular, he had to pay a kind of special tax to the Communist Party, right? So that's outside of the United States tax. This is something completely different. But anyway, I mean, I was lucky to be born there, obviously. I mean, I might not consider myself entirely American, although in my mind, I think I am. But, it gave me the passport. Once you're born there, you get the passport. So that was a big, big, big advantage.
Couldn't you imagine your mum and dad leaving the Soviet Union, finding themselves in the land of the free?
Yeah.
In New York, going, now is our time to have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have
Probably.
any brothers or sisters?
No, I don't. No.
Well, there you go. Like, we're free.
Yeah.
They must have felt free.
Yeah.
To let's have a baby here. So where'd you go after New York?
Well, we went back to Moscow. And I lived there for about 6 years, I guess. I stayed mostly with my grandmother, because my parents were both at work. They just didn't have time. To be honest with you, I don't remember my life at all before the age of 4. I know, like, some people remember very well, like 2 years old or 3 years old. I can't remember anything. I tried to remember. Wow. I had a student here in Japan.
Were your parents away? Like, actually not at home? So you had that bonding with your grandmother?
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah.
That really is, isn't it? It would have been the normal life back then, perhaps, but that's significant in your life, I'll bet.
Yeah, well, I mean, they would drop by like every evening, right? After
but
work.
Still,
yeah.
That's why you probably can't remember things. Like I actually, my dad was always away working. He was in Papua New Guinea or something for 2 years. But I remember there was mum coming into my cot, if I can ever remember early days. So you don't remember that? It could have been the reason why.
I guess so, yeah. My grandmother was a quite specific person. I don't particularly want to talk about her on the show, but I mean, but you see, my dad, because he worked for the United Nations, even though we were living in the Soviet Union, we were kind of privileged, obviously. We had more money than the average Russian on the street. And I just want to make a quick point, by the way, about Russia, because a lot of people right now say a lot of negative things about Russia, and I have to say a lot of that is warranted. I mean, really, the country is a mess. It's a disaster. We have a corrupt president, who's a crook. But I also want to say, like, people who listen to this, please don't paint everybody with the same brush. A lot of people are different. I'm obviously one of those different people. I'm definitely very special, also lived outside of there most of my life, but I know people there who are absolutely okay with gay people, who want the system to change, but they're held hostage by this system. So I'll get to that later on.
Well, it's such a big country anyway.
It is. Yeah.
It's like what I find. We almost said this before we started rolling today about Japan. People are people.
Yes.
You will get. I'll get along with the lady on the street just
Yeah.
outside here. We just walked past her.
Yeah.
Just cleaning the outside bathroom or something.
Right.
We'll get along for the next years. There'll be
Yeah.
no problems because she's just a normal person.
Yeah.
But her life may be changed because of she may feel confined or
Yeah.
she's stuck in some religion, and
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like I had on this podcast last 2 weeks ago a guy who fled Persia, ended up being a refugee boat person and landing in Australia, and the reason he left is because of the Islamic Revolution 37 years ago, and he was in the first year of university saying, "I don't believe in any religions, just like all my friends." They locked him in jail for 29 days, said he was going to die there, and he fled the country with his dad just throwing him in a boat.
Yeah, there you go.
So but now he's in Australia.
Yeah.
He's just a normal guy like the rest of us.
Yeah.
So, but he can't say those things just in that country, that little
Right.
border.
Yeah.
So you'll find all those same people in Russia,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
controlled by some weird government who
Yes.
has to look after an entire region
Oh, sure.
with a history of missiles and
Yeah.
all kinds of war and
Yeah.
takeovers.
Yeah. Well, it's a
Unmanageable. You'd say it's unmanageable.
Yeah.
Would
I guess so, yeah. Well, I'll get to Russia a bit later in the show.
I like to interject with my Australian knowledge of not knowing anything about
No.
Russia,
No,
but it's so interesting.
But a lot of people don't, I think Russia is often the scapegoat. Like, it's easy to blame right away. Oh, there's a problem. Oh, well, it's Russia's fault, right?
But I'll have you know, in Australia, we don't have the American point of view whatsoever.
Yes.
To us, it's beautiful women and vodka. If that's any good feeling to you, we see that whole America versus Russia thing as just like a
Show.
newspaper thing.
Yeah.
We just think of beautiful women
Yeah.
and crazy guys driving cars drunk on vodka.
Yeah.
We really do. That's
Yeah.
what Russia is to us.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with bad at all. If
Yeah.
that's any consolation to you.
Oh, no, you can say whatever you want. I mean,
I'm sure that is around the world a little bit,
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, I'll get to it a little bit later because what happened to the country is very tragic, and it's kind of the only country where this tragedy happened. But I'll get to it later. Most of my life, I lived outside of Russia. I've never went to Russian school, so I know how to speak it. I know how to read it, but I can't write it. It's impossible for me. I write like a 5-year-old. Basically, I'm trying to just make the characters like in the very first grade textbooks. It looks ridiculous. And in fact, when I tried to get a job there in Moscow, that was for me kind of the breaking point. I have to send emails in the office. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't write it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I can't. So what I had to do, literally, I'm not kidding, I had to go to Google Translate, and I have like in my mind like how to pronounce the word. So I would just kind of type it, and then it transforms it into Russian, right? It's so ridiculous. So I'm a Russian guy sitting in an office in Moscow using Google Translate to write Russian. Wow. It's just, boom, mind-blowing.
Too hard.
But yeah, I lived most of my life in Switzerland, actually. This was, again, same thing. My dad got lucky and so got sent to Switzerland. And during that time, I mean, during those 4 years, the perestroika happened.
The what?
The perestroika happened. So this is when the communist regime fell and was replaced by Yeltsin's democracy. Well,
right.
Democracy in quotes, but still. And basically, that rule of 4 years and then you go back got canceled. And he got to stay forever in Switzerland. And, well, obviously, so did I. And so I went to international school. And this is why my thinking is obviously quite international. I've met other people there, not just from Switzerland, but people from England, from America, from Germany. You kind of learn from everybody, I guess. And that changes your worldview.
It is. It's probably the number one.
Yeah.
Isn't it? When you meet people who've lived, or put it this way, you could go to Moscow and meet someone who has stayed in that very city.
Yeah.
And they say the most bizarre, just racist.
Yeah.
Oh, look at us in Japan, to be honest. They are sweetheart people.
Yeah.
But there isn't a day that goes by. Yeah, everyone says